Welcome to episode 3 of Weaving Sacred Stories. For this episode, we have our first guest ever, so please welcome Jarrod Mohr, aka Jay. And this beautiful soul is a traveler, a mystic, a yogi, a Reiki healer, and just a beautiful soul that agreed to come on Weaving Sacred Stories and tell his sacred story. So please welcome Jay to our space with love. And we really wanted to set the intention of pouring wisdom into the space. We really do learn from our experiences, and this is a very, it's a telling story about how, when you surrender to what Jay speaks about, which is the Divine Mother and his journey, his trust fall consistently into the Divine Mother's hands, and how he has always been provided for. And he describes the journey of coming into self-awareness and rediscovering his true core essence. Jay is on social media platforms. I will link them in the description box below. So go check him out, go follow him and his current journey that he's on. I really loved this conversation, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. Also, one of my favorite questions to ask people who are on a path, whether that be spiritual or self-discovery or whatever it is, what kind of put you on that track? Did you always feel more conscious? What catalyzed you to take on more of a spiritual practice in your life?
Right. So I kind of have like a chronological way of like explaining this, just because it just all ties in. So I feel like to start things out, it starts with kind of my high school time period was like where I like just kind of started to really feel like I had a lot going on internally. And I really just didn't know what like life was up until that point. So like I just started disassociating because that's just what everyone else was doing, right? This is whether it's family, like I learned like I'm not supposed to like talk about my feelings. We're all supposed to just ignore everything going on and pretend like everything's okay, and we'll come together and pretend and play this role. So that was like in high school. There's just a lot of like internal like emotions. I was just sitting with myself. I was like, I have to deal with this by myself. I have to. So like, there's a lot of self-medicating in high school. I was smoking weed every day, probably like. But I mean, like on the outside, like I'm playing sports. I'm getting straight A's. Like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, like because I'm really was like brought up into discipline. So like everything I was doing, it's for a reward. My function is to complete the task at hand, and I'm rewarded. And then like kind of like the way I was brought up. But in high school, like I knew I was just going through like so much like self-consciousness. I felt like I really was not comfortable in my body. I started lifting weights like freshman year of high school, and like that was my let out, like because like I had gotten in a fight in 8th grade and I got beat up. So I was like, I'm done. Like I'm gonna be strong. Like I need to. So I just like had that, and then like of course like with the self consciousness, like I had to like really build up my body and feel good, with lifting weights, and then of course like all the sports stuff, like making my parents proud in like the sport realm and in the academic realm too. It was all about like I was a perfectionist in that realm. Like everything was so easy for me, but like behind the scenes, like I'm stressing about it. I'm worried about it. Like I could like not study for a test, get straight A's, and then like I would be like I'd get one question wrong, and I'm no, like what was it? What was it? Like I was just really like perfectionist attitude. But in high school, I got into a relationship with my ex partner, and we were together for 11 years. And,
Wow.
we had a separation when I was a senior in high school, which kind of ties into things as well because we had a pretty, like it was a young relationship. We had issues. We were always fighting. There was like bickering. We had like the teenage like relationship. But like when it came to time, like when push came to shove, I was going back and forth between my parents because I would get kicked out of my dad's house, go live with my mom. Then my dad would be like, "Hey, your discipline's even worse over there. Come back and live with me." And then I would get kicked out again for doing something wrong. So it's just really interesting. Like I was like, "What am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, I'm doing it right. Am I doing it wrong?" It was
Oh,
just a lot of, like confusion inside. I'm like, "This is crazy. Like who do I listen to?" And
mm,
like there was not very much presence in my family realm. So like
mm.
it was all like just really confusing. It was just really I was so by myself internally like the whole time.
Can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so w- it sounds like you were getting the grades and you were performing as an athlete. So what was it that you would really get in trouble for? Like,
Um the physical act of like smoking weed and
okay.
also like energetically what I feel now is because I was supposed to oop, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Um I think now that I read it energetically, I always hung out with the misfits, but it was to be a light for them. It was to be
Mhm.
there for them and to be somebody that understood them, even though like I was supposed to be like the smart kid and like doing that. I always was hanging out with the misfits, and like that was the issue, right? Because
Okay.
I was energetically drawn to people with dense brain bodies, like
Yeah.
really dense, like just family upbringings. Their whole family dynamics were always just like similar, like almost similar to mine, but like often worse. Like where I'm
Yeah.
this my situation's nothing. Like I don't really care about mine. I'm like looking at everyone else's. I'm like, okay, but like we would always hang out, get into trouble together, and just like it was like you wouldn't even believe like, the pain bodies on these kids, man. Like some of my high school friends, like it's so like intense, and I still don't even know how like to approach that because I can still see them in their dynamics and like everything in my being's like I want to associate with them and still be the light for them, but like it's almost impossible nowadays, right? So,
So
but
you've been transmuting and alchemizing for people around you since you were young. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm figuring out. I didn't know it at first. It's all like that's like all in hindsight. It was so much confusion before, and like I'm just getting hit with energy the whole time. I'm like getting smacked around because I have knowing what it was. Um, it's like being in a washing machine. You're just like, oh, I'm like getting hit because like you could anything that I experience, like it could be the most littlest thing. Like if I gave you a reaction that was off-putting and you gave me a reflection that was like, oh, I hurt you or I
Mm.
did something wrong, I took that to the grave. Like I took that. Like I will feel that energetic moment like deep as it was the day it happened, and it like that really affected my self-esteem because I thought there was something wrong with me. I was like, oh, I said this wrong thing. I remember I scratched this girl on her face in like kindergarten or like first or second grade, and it was game over. I thought my life was over, and I still feel that energy of like accidentally scratching her face. I still feel that, and I was like, oh my God, I hurt her.
Yeah.
It was
You're
just,
like forsaken,
yeah,
condemned forever.
I was like, why did I do that stuff? Like, I hold on to these moments like that. And there's other times where like, oh, I was actually malicious in my words and my actions, my intentions, and like I definitely feel a lot of guilt and shame for that, because like eventually you get to a point where it's like, and this is like where a lot of my unconsciousness like was, being aware of it was really interesting, but then also just like not caring at
Yeah.
all about it. But so throughout high school, I was in this relationship, had a very intense pain body too. So like we kind of just drew to each other in that aspect. Like we both were like, all right, we both have these, things, and like this is compatible. Like
Yeah.
for the moment in that time period, and we really helped each other like get through a lot just by being with each other,
Yeah.
because we got to escape together basically.
Yeah.
Um, we separated my senior year. There was a lot of influence from my parents because of that. Like, my dad and my stepmom were like, "Hey, like, we don't think this relationship's healthy for you, and like, you need to separate." So I would go through that separation process, and it was so painful. It was such a process. It hurt so bad, and like, I just remember when I had like did it and everything panned out. I was like, "What did I just do? Like, why did I do that?" But anyways, it goes on, and I end up graduating high school, and I signed up for the military at 17.
Okay.
I got the Air Force, went through basic training, and like living very disassociated still. Like, even though like I was smoking weed like right up until before I went in, like I was still living that like kind of unconscious patterns and fear-based mindsets, scarcity, like survival mentalities rooted into my family. So like I'm just like going with the punches. Like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep making my parents proud. I'm gonna join the Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still doing the things to cater to them, right, and like fulfill that role. And I joined the Air Force, and this is kind of the craziest part about it, is like in basic training, my stepmom and dad come to watch my graduation, and I hear that they're separating because of like the relationship. My dad had been, doing things, and there was just a lot that came to fruition. And here I am listening to them, going by their guidance when it comes to my relationships, to my life.
Okay.
And then I just had this awakening. I was like, they have no idea what they're doing. They're unconscious. They have no idea what they're even talking about when it comes to these relationships, and like my whole world. I'm in training. I just graduated, and I'm like, I have this like pit in my stomach, and I had that perception shift and like realization, but I was still really programmed by like the basic training, and like the like I don't know what it's called, like fulfilling.
Brainwash.
I was brainwashed, basically. Yeah, I was, and I was just like super gung ho, patriotic, still going for it. Even after I had that slight like moment of realization. Now that I think back to it, but I still like went right back into it. Like, I was still right back into the loops, and like still struggling internally with self-worth. Like, that's been a problem up until October of this past year. Like, like I had amazing realizations this year. But so I go through this process, and of course right after tech school and basic training, I call, like, I miss you, like, let's get back together. I was so like scared, like my whole life. Like, I was just like, what am I doing? I need something that's familiar. Like, so I went you know, back home during leave and like, met up, and you know, it was so like she broke up with her boyfriend that she had at the time. We like get together and we're just at Kane's Chicken just laughing about it. Like
Oh my gosh.
we're like evil laughing, like, oh, we're back.
She was a root,
Oh,
a
100.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my God. And like she's helped me move through so much, being like that. Oh my God. It's so beautiful how much space she's held for me during my process. And like, I just remember that moment being so beautiful, like reuniting with her and like finding that familiar like space again.
Yeah.
And it was totally necessary for my process.
Mm.
So she was graduating high school and I was in the military. We would do long distance, and then we did one more year of long distance. And the catalyst for like the beginning of the awakening was a car accident in the Air Force.
Okay.
I was doing a competition for the base. It was a competition between all the branches. This is the things that I get into because I'm just so gung-ho and I like to do everything 100%. It's a competition between every branch of the Air Force at the Joint Base McGuire in New Jersey. And like there's like land navigation, like an obstacle course, a mental game, like you name it, like all the aspects that they're testing to see who's the number one of all the branches. And so I go and win this thing, first place, coined by like every installation commander, all that. And then I go home on leave for 2 weeks and I'm like raving, like partying with them. And we're like, and like when I go home and I was going to these raves, it was like I'm human again. Oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh. And like during that time she was like, here, take this. I was like, I'm like scared to take the drugs or whatever. I was like, you shouldn't be doing this, and then I do it. God, what have I been doing my whole life? You know, like so I'm like during that time I'm like being like my parents, like you shouldn't do those things, and like, you know, I was always like, you know, stick to weed, don't do anything else, and like I'm always like chastising her, but like little do I know that like I had the most like crazy spiritual awakenings during these raves on these drugs. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had moments of like feeling my being so deeply
Yeah.
on Molly and like stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. I go back and I had just got this tattoo while I was home. It's a phoenix. And little did I know it was like an omen and a premonition to what was going to happen. So I go back home and I'm just like hella depressed, like so depressed, partying and drinking with people, just like really just trying to like, I'm getting all these rewards like I was in high school and like getting the thumbs up, but and doing everything great on paper, but my internal world is bad. I'm out of alignment completely, and I'm just partying with friends at this house, and a girl is driving drunk. We all get in the car, and I wake up in the hospital, and I don't
Oh.
remember. And
Oh.
I just wake up to my chief, like our fire chief, and he's sitting in front of me. I'm just like, oh no, what did I do? I have a broken collarbone, which I have 6 screws and a plate now forever.
Yeah.
Collapsed lung, concussion. I have no memory of the whole night,
Mm.
and that was my exit, right? Because we had been smoking weed that night, of course, being hoodlums in the
Yeah.
military. Because we're all just trying to cope, right, with this like thing we signed up for. And on a side note of that, like I think the coercion tactics to get kids in the military is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
I feel like the government, the society orchestrates economic poverty and
Yeah.
turmoil in our society. And then they raise this carrot above you, like, hey, all of our benefits are going to be something that is good for your life and your future. And look at all this structure that you have when you're in our. So that's just my take on all of that.
Yeah.
So I get kicked out and I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona to be with graduates college.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really amazing. Like I would say still I'm like in my pattern of like structure. I'm still processing the accident, processing all of the military time because I was 2 years and about months in the military. I never went overseas, didn't see any combat. I
Mm-hmm.
had a humanitarian mission in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
We were smoking cigars and having fun. It was great. Lucky. I got lucky. I got
Yeah.
super lucky. But that's just me. I got lucky. Um,
Yeah. My brother actually went to Jordan recently and he came back and said it was like a vacation.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so
What
Flagstaff.
what what did that feel like to almost die?
Uh, it hurt. I was like bedridden for like probably almost a month, and taking oxys.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why are they giving that to you? I had like ulcers because of the stress and the drugs at the same time.
Yeah.
It was so painful physically.
Mm,
And like, I just remember being so sore from not doing anything.
yeah.
And I was sitting there. Luckily, my mom came out and like babied me for like 2 weeks. I was like, thank goodness. I honestly don't know if I would have made it through it without her.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Like for her to come out and just like she was doing everything for me. She'd run errands for me. And like my wallet was missing from the whole accident. Like we were like looking for my wallet. Like I had no money to use because my wallet. So it was just a whole situation. I was like, but it felt like it was a whole death. And interestingly enough, a part of me thinks like another version of me may have died.
Yeah.
Like if you believe in timelines and like things that like shift like that, I think I could have possibly actually died in another reality,
Right.
which feels weird to say, but like I think that it feels true. Like it's very interesting
Mm-hmm.
because like it was like a different life just started happening from that point on.
Yeah. And hospitals are so, at least in the United States, like our hospitals are so, like open a window, put some plants in here. Like why are hospitals so awful? I just don't, it's like you want us to die here. It's just, why are they so uncomfortable? They're the worst. It's like, yeah,
Uh,
I feel like dying right now. Like this is awful.
I have so much to say on like the medical field.
Yeah,
That's
it's a lot. And I feel like we could talk about a lot, Jarrod. There's actually a lot that you say that I resonate really deeply with.
gonna have a couple
So
episodes.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing just part of your sacred story. It's really beautiful. So you get back from the hospital, you're with your girlfriend.
Yep.
What
So
else?
I moved from New Jersey, um, and we actually drove together from Jersey to Arizona, where she's going to college. So we did a big road trip back home, and I visited my sister on the way. So we get to Flagstaff, Arizona, and I just jump right into a Pepsi warehouse job
Okay.
because I need security, foundation, whatever. And like that's just the thing to do. So I just start managing this Pepsi warehouse, and I'm working like 60-hour weeks. I'm hustling. I'm going hard as I can on that, like, because that's just what I do. I just push my body physically, and I would just keep pushing myself. Like, I need to perform. I'm working out every day. I'm always doing something, and it's always about like evolving myself, but like upholding a mental picture of myself as well during that time. Like, just still like, because self-worth is just not there, so I have to use the work system. I have to use the gym to feel fulfilled. Sports is like another big thing. I got back into football, and I played a couple football seasons while I was in Flagstaff too. So like I really did like use things outside of me to like feel good about myself during this time. And I was just like in this work cycle, but like also getting really caught up into politics and conspiracy videos at the time. And I was very conservative growing up because of my family dynamics, and like the community around me is very conservative, and just really, we really believe in things. We got to believe in things. And we really need to just have something to believe in, because fuck, we have nothing else. We have everything has to, we have nothing inside of ourselves to hold on to, like I feel like I had no anchor when it comes to life, and like I would use politics as a way to like, believe in something like everyone else was doing around me. And like, since everyone else had similar like ideas with me, it felt good to come together and like believe like, oh my God,
It's tribal.
it is. And like the whole like election was rigged thing, like I was convinced. uh like they stole the election from Trump. like I was idolizing him so hard, and
Yeah.
I was getting into conspiracy theories and everything, and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I also got in contact with a friend who was, his dad is into CBD. His dad is also into conspiracy theories too, but I was starting to use this medicine, and it was like raw CBD. And then COVID hit, and I had like 2 weeks of just like being in my own energy. Like, what is this like beautiful stillness that I'm like experiencing? Um, and like from that point on, like I was just constantly like, in these modes of like thinking, and then always there like questioning the shit out of me. Thank goodness. Because she would be like, do you really believe in that? Like, like, do you really? Because her family is like on the other side of the political spectrum, and she's like always like, you're crazy. Like, you're not like always like there, like
To
anytime
push
I get
you.
myself in the conspiracies, like she'd be like, hey, like look over here, dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
this way of thinking things. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever, like whatever. uh, Another like back thing to that is like the unconscious part. Like I'm also like smoking weed every day, like still escaping reality. And I
Mm-hmm.
have horrible pornography addiction. And this
Mm-hmm.
like the age 14, 13 maybe, till I'm
Mm-hmm.
23.
Yeah.
Like pornography addiction to the max. Like it became a problem in the relationship, and that was a lot of tension with the relationship it would cause, because I was
Yeah.
very full in that aspect, and it just caused a lot of self-worth issues for my ex. And she just, it was really hard for her to understand that,
Yeah.
because my thing was like, everyone does it, everyone's doing it. So it's just like, it's just what we do. It's just like, it's part of like what we do. Like, I don't know, it really is a part of our society. And like I thought it was normal, and I thought it was something that was okay. And like obviously now I'm like finding that like it's a way to siphon energy, it's a way to steal your power,
Yeah.
and really just, it takes away your self-worth, if anything. So during
and ruins intimacy, like true, like the potency of what relationship can be, like
dude,
what can, like, oh, I'll talk about sex all day. So
yeah, you're right. You're
because
right.
when you can actually have intimacy and those moments without the externals, and so to your point about politics, I mean, I don't see being obsessed with politics as any different than having a porn addiction. I don't, because they're both these taking energies. You're not coming from a place of within.
100%. And that's the programming, and like that's what they do. They put us in a fear mindset. They make us look outside of ourselves to be fulfilled. I mean, like my whole beginning of my life, fulfilling my self-worth with outside activities to get the recognition and feel good about myself, but also like the mercy of my senses, my next coffee fix, my next meal, my next munchie meal. I used to call myself the munchie master. Me and my ex, I'd be like, I'm the master. Like, what do you want me to put up? I'm like throwing
Yeah.
on, just mixing things together to like make my taste buds go to the moon, and it was just like I was so like at the mercy of my senses, like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like, but also during this time, like, of working at the Pepsi warehouse, every night, like after a 12-hour shift, I'm hitting that Mexican food drive, and I'm just downing carne asada fries, like, and that's my meal, like, every night.
Mhm.
So my vessel is just pissed at me. It's just pissed. Like, I'm getting treated like a fucking workhorse. Like, I'm
Mhm.
feeding myself all these things externally and like expecting results, expecting evolution,
Mhm.
expecting like I'm gonna get anywhere.
Mhm.
I know I'm in a fucking loop. I'm in a cycle that has just got me by my soul. My soul is taken from me. I felt like I was stuck. I was stuck. No
Yeah.
creative. I didn't make art. I was never a creative person before this past year, really.
Yeah.
And it was all my energy going to all of these things. So COVID first kind of like, oh, what is this little freedom? What is it? The CBD. There was something with my system that was getting equanimous with the medicine without me like actually my body good. It was like counteracting like the effects, and like I started to find this like equilibrium. And then graduates from college, and but basically she graduates college and we go to Costa Rica for a month. And like this is our first time just like out of the school system, out of working, and we get to just travel and enjoy ourselves for a month. And I want to say like it was such a great experience, but going from a cycle like that to freedom, and just you're not in your moment there. I'm
Mm.
thinking about my next fix, coffee fixed,
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Like thinking about the next thing, and like there's no way I was present. There would be moments where I'm like infatuated with the surroundings, and I'm in just complete awe of the beauty in Costa Rica, because oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then like you just see how they eat there too, and we
Mhm.
started to see like how natural everything was. And the
Mhm.
the thing that I was kind of troubled by was like our stomachs weren't really okay with the food there. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, all of our food back home is fake. And there's
Yeah.
no like microorganisms, and there's no like connection to the earth in
Mm.
food that I've been eating my entire life, basically.
No
So
nutrients. No
yeah,
nutrients in our food.
none. And like we go to Costa Rica, and we get stomach issues. I have like an gut, so like I didn't have anything happen to me, but she's going to the bathroom constantly. I'm just like, well, there's something here. I think we're supposed to have all this, and like it's cleansing us. Like it was
Yeah.
literally their ketchup was like translucent and like real tomato. I was like, that was the first indicator that I was like, something's good here. Like
Yeah.
everything is real. And the chicken there, I've never had chicken that's so good. And like
Mhm.
food that just feels really real. And as soon as we did that, we go back home, one, single ingredients only. We completely change our entire diet. And then we start scheming. I was like, how do we get more time out of ourselves? Like, because like I became aware of a lot of things while I was over there.
Mhm.
Slowly, I'm still dealing with the addictions. It doesn't just go away. But like, we were like, all right, so how do we travel more? How do we do more things? We're like, let's buy an RV. Buying an RV so
Mhm.
that we can live somewhere cheap and like work over in the States and then go overseas, go back and forth.
Yeah.
So we invested like all of our money in RV, renovated it, built it up, and like first location was South Padre Island, Texas. And like we worked there all summer. I was working on a fishing boat. She was working on a dolphin cruise boat. We'd see each other across the bay. Oh, dude. Just like insane like experience. I mean, during this time, I'm still like hustling and working really hard. Like
Yeah.
it's the nature of our society to like get a lot of money, have to work, or at least that was my mentality back then. Is like I have to put my body on the line to make the money. But we save up money and we go for our first long trip overseas. And oh wait, no, let me get I have a timeline right here.
That constant push of the body
My back hurts just talking about it.
it's like the shadow of the patriarch. It's like the shadow of the masculine to push our bodies to the
Ow. It hurts.
seriously, it's
My back,
horrible.
like, I remember it all.
Yeah, our bodies do remember everything, and that's why we have to slow down and tend to them and
Oh,
not push ourselves to that point. It's not necessary.
I'm
We've
getting
been
there.
conditioned. We've been conditioned to think it's necessary. It's not.
It's 100% conditioning. And like I'm getting there. I find stillness one day, I promise. um so oh yeah, so we actually did like after South Padre, we went up the coast of California, like wine tasting, acting retired. It was so cool.
It
So
sounds like it. Sounds like what I
it,
want to do when I'm old.
yeah, and like, but that's the thing is like we gotta do it now. That's what we gotta do. That was our mentality. We're like, we're done playing this game.
Yeah.
We're gonna retire now. We're gonna figure out how to try to live retired now in some way. So we get up the coast of California and like this 3 months of not working and just wine tasting, traveling up the coast. We get into reading books and we start reading on intuition, frequency, vibration. And I have a journal and I'm like, what do you do with this? I'm like, what do you do with this thing? And like I never like self-reflected on paper before and boom, what an amazing transformation. Like I started to really feel like my reality was changing and I was noticing things. And
Mm.
I just started asking all these questions because I started reading into this feminine aspect of life and like the intuition and like reading so much on it and like testing it too, right? And like we would be getting crazy synchronicities and I'm like, okay, it's getting really weird witnessing like the magic of life and like this hidden like world that's just right in front of me. Like
Yeah.
I've never been so like we started to like really sit and meditate because like in these books it teaches you like well if you want to know about intuition, if you want to know about these things, you have to be centered. You have to so like as I'm delayering all these addictions, like slowly coming to an understanding of myself in this realm, I'm like my whole perception shift. I'm still like battling like the internal pull of like really diving into politics and like being in the conspiracy mind, but like I'm going in and out of it now. Like I'm just kind of like I get these viewpoints of like, what is this? And I'm just asking so many questions at the time. And like we take a whole nother fall to work, make money, and that's when we landed in Linden, Washington, in at Bellwood Farms. We almost stopped in Eugene. There's like a little winery off the I-5, and like we're just a little off, and like we were gonna like stay on the mountains in there and just hang out, but it didn't work out. And we're like sitting at this rest stop in the middle of like real like right north of Bellingham, or no, right south of Bellingham. We leave the cat like in the RV because first we're just sitting in there like, what do we do? We have no money, nowhere to stay. What do we do? What do we do? Like, uh, we're like, we need to find an RV spot. We need to find jobs like right now. But like our like nervous system is just getting shot. Like during this whole time, like my anxiety's through the roof because I don't know how to function with so much time on my hands, first of all. So like after being out of the work cycle, I'm like, in the RV was my next thing to distract myself with. It was like, what's going on with the RV? I'm always thinking about what's gonna go wrong next, and like I'm always fixing it up. It was a pretty old one, but so like I would attach myself to something. I needed something to stress about and worry about. So the RV was the thing during that time, and like when we were at this restaurant, we were stressing so hard. But I swear, sitting there and like thinking about things, we manifested the next place.
Yeah.
We left the RV at the rest stop and like took the car up to Linden. We're like, okay, Canada is 7 miles away. We can't go any further.
Yeah.
We go to like the last RV park right there. They have a spot for us right then and there. Boom. We have somewhere to stay. It like worked out. I'm like, why were we even stressing? I'm like, why were we like, we were calling everyone. Like, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. We don't have, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Dude. And we go to this beautiful place called Bellwood Farms. It's an apple farm in Washington. And like we go there for breakfast because a neighbor like told us. And like, holy crap, it felt like a dream. We get there and like we get hired like right on the spot by owners, and they're just like the sweetest, like most like pure people ever. Like they have their own quirks and stuff, but like they were just so trusting in us. Like man, they have some faith that like I didn't really know it at the time, but I was like, wow, like these people are blessed. Like they're
Yeah.
true. Like, I'm like, holy crap. Like, and I, this time period, like I'm atheist, like from
Okay.
high school to like this time. And not until we were like in the RV, like traveling around and I had this time to like think for myself was like kind of when I was like seeing some magical things happening, but I'm like, what does this scientifically mean?
Okay. Okay. I was gonna ask if you at this point had a relationship with the divine at this point.
No, I mean, in hindsight, of course,
Yes,
but
of course, but consciously.
unfortunately, but like freedom of religion growing up, like my mom was just like, believe whatever you want to believe, dude. Like, it was really, that's like one thing I'm thankful for is like, I never got caught up into that,
Yeah.
but I've seen, and I'm, interestingly enough, I gravitate to humans that are hurt by the church.
Yeah.
And like, I'm always a beacon of spirituality
Yeah.
out the church. And like,
Yeah.
because I'll get some people, they'll be like, huh, like, I've like denied the church so much and like the essence of life because of my pain. But then they'll tell me, like, but like, I see the benefit of your spirituality, Jay. Like, you know, so like, I think that's like kind of like another part of my purpose is to show the light of spirituality and this essence that is around us even though you've been hurt. Like, I'm supposed to be a beast. That I know that for sure. Because I'm just always around people who are like, just like church. They're like super hardcore about that, which I'm like, I don't blame you, dude. Like, I don't blame you at all. I'm all over the place, but that's just how I am. But we're on track here. So Bellwood Farms, they give me all this responsibility. It's like my first time of like just being trusted, and like I don't feel like I have to perform. Like, giving all of this like responsibility, and like I do my first job that's like customer service. And like before, I was like, no, I don't deal with people. I don't talk to people. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm like very like reserved and like in my own energy. I'm like, yeah, I'm not good with people. I go in there and I'm like, it's like second nature. I get tips. Like, I make the most sales for their alcohol like ever, because I would just run their tasting room and like serve booze and sell the alcohol to people, and it was so fun, so easy, and like I really started to develop this self confidence of like, oh, I can talk to people. It's fine. I'm not like, I don't need to be scared of this interaction. And I think the fear in me has really like during that time before, it was like I lost out on a lot of intimacy and holding relationships in a closer way because of, I mean, I think it's just the lack of presence that I've had in my life, right? Nobody was that present with me as a young kid. So I felt like I can't get close. I can't put my heart into things. Like I can't let you in. And like there's a lot of that where I just never let my ex in my heart in a way because of that. But so this is like really just this whole process of like finding this self-worth and like being able to have responsibility was huge. But I'm asking so many questions. I'm having like an awakening. Like I'm awakening myself and my personal power and like what is all this? What does this all mean? What is conscious? Like, because I'm science minded. I'm like thinking in terms of like I need to see it to believe it. I need to know and like need to know understand what's going on here. So go to our next big trip or our first big trip overseas that's like far, instead of just Costa Rica. And we end up going to Thailand. And here I'm like, we're partying, kind of just like still working through the unconscious stuff. I'm still having tons of questions internally. And we go to the islands of Thailand and we meet a friend there who happens to be from Flagstaff, Arizona. And we met him on a boat there. We just end up like making really awesome. And like a couple things that stood out to me was like that made me uncomfortable was like because he was polyamorous. And was very like, and sexually and like I was very intimidated by that at the time. I was very uncomfortable with it, and like I was like, "Who are you, dude? Like you're giving me like wicked reflection right now." Like, and I was like, kind of just like self conscious about it. I feel it. And we end up just having like so much fun with him for like 2 weeks, and we changed our entire trip from like just doing Southeast Asia to doing a yoga teacher training in India because he was going to India to do the yoga teacher training. And like, we'll go with you. Like, you're so awesome. Like, we love hanging out with you. So we changed up our whole entire trip, and I end up in India. Like, we would arrive at this ashram at like 3 a.m, and I'm like in a whole different world. I feel so scared. I'm like, where am I? We're like in the streets of India in Rishikesh. Like, it looks just like insane. It looks out of this world. My whole body's just like I don't know
You're
what's
like,
going
you're an alien. Like, you're
on.
literally an alien and you just walked onto a new planet. Hello.
Like that in Thailand, but at least it was very like catered to tourism and stuff. Like
Yeah.
like India was just a culture shock. Like, my
Mm-hmm.
like, but we get to the dash and all the questions, all the things I was wondering, everything that my heart was looking for. I
Mm-hmm.
come to philosophy class in yoga and like in this because we wake up, we're like doing yoga like all day. Like it's 26 days of like you wake up, we're all doing our Ashtanga before sunrise, we're doing our chanting, and then we get into cleansings, and then we get into philosophy, anatomy, and then another form of yoga, and then another form, lunch, and then you just keep doing it, and you have like at the end of the night you sing mantras and beautiful. I would
Just
recommend
medicine. Just
I would
dripping in
recommend
medicine.
to the entire world to do this because first off, it is so affordable. It is such an affordable thing to do. And it gave me all the physical ways to investigate scientifically
Mm-hmm.
through my own vessel,
Yeah.
through my senses, all scientifically making complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when you start to think in this way and like really try to conceptualize through your senses and understand these philosophies of yoga, it really does bridge the gap between science and spirituality.
Yeah.
And like you find your spirituality within this because
Mm-hmm.
you just start to feel this essence of your own being and you can really kind of get out of your 3D reality. And I was able to just reprogram my whole system basically. And like all of the questions I was asking, I was like, I can figure it out through these yoga techniques. I can sit with myself. I can understand what consciousness is just by breathing and being in energy. And I mean, it's so much deeper than that when you tie in all the philosophies. And it's, I mean, there's a mountain of knowledge in that, and you know this. So,
This is the tip of the iceberg.
but that's like where my awakening really started to accelerate.
Beautiful.
And I went through that 26-day yoga teacher training just transformed. And it hit me in a spot where, like, oh, my soul has been here before. My soul has studied this before, this
Mm-hmm.
phenomena. And I started to remember just about what my purpose was. And this essence that I am is just much more than what meets the eye. And I started to have amazing experiences with the divine. And like I couldn't even explain to my partner at the time what I was experiencing. And like, you know, I would go into like spontaneous prayer and like it wasn't even me. Like it was just happening and like I'd be asked like what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like this is just what I'm feeling and this is what and like all of a sudden my whole life was about what is resonating in my body right now.
Yeah.
What is it that life is trying to call within me? And I just started to feel this call from within. Everything I was doing started to be very intuitive without even trying. Like I'm not even trying and like things would happen to me that are just like amazing. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm like manifesting money and this. No, I'm having beautiful conversations with a human being that are transformative. My words are flowing through me in such a way where I may have just changed that person's life just with very presence in my words. And I can see it in them, in their eyes, and in the way they're reacting to me. And I'm like, okay. I was like, at first you just feel crazy, and you're like, this isn't like what I'm here to do. Like I'm not just to like speak and be. And like, I didn't know that that's what I can be. I can just do that. I can float. I can do whatever I want and just speak life into myself, speak life into people, and I'm going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And there's a relationship you just start to develop with this essence, I call it. Furthermore, I call it divine mother because of a book read on Yogananda Paramahansa. His book on self-realization just really showed me a testimonial of what this life really is. And I dove in and I was like, well, I started testing out all that he was experiencing. And I was like, this is me. Like, this is my life. My life is that magical. I get responses from this divine essence instantaneously. And it's never been about material things. It's never been about that. It's been about like heart fulfillment and like bringing me to experiences that are healing, not only for me, but for my environment.
Yeah.
And it feels like so wild to think that like I'm a healer. I'm a I'm a vessel for essence. And it wasn't until I delayered all of this illusion that I was under. Like, this illusion has stripped me of my power for so long. And I don't know if that was divinely orchestrated. Like, maybe I wouldn't have been able to stand in this power if I didn't go through all of that, right? Or maybe I would have went through experiences of my ego taking over with this power, because I could have very well went down mentally. Not gonna lie to you, I was dealing with some very narcissistic tendencies in myself, and I could feel it, and I know I can go a whole nother. I mean, there's darkness, right? And so I feel like the way things panned out for me it was necessary, because I could have went a very different path.
I resonate with that. And I think that people who have a lot of power need to be very accountable with their own energy. You know,
A hundred-
you're so potent, you're a healer, yes, but you can also become very destructive with that power if you
Right,
don't.
right. And my ideas, I'm like, holy crap! Like, if I can see through this illusion now, and like, there's entities out there that can also see through the illusion and know how easy it is to manipulate and exploit. I'm like, holy shit. We gotta let people know that manipulation is real, exploitation is real when we're under these manipulative conditions. And I really just like, it really, the child exploitation, it runs really deep. And there's so much to this that just like, it brings alarm to my system, but like, also knowing my awakening process, it brings me a lot of hope for it. A lot of like, it really does take just small perception shifts, and it takes presence and certain conversations with people, and it sparks something in them. And it's funny how you can really just make change in the most mundane situations with people. And like, that's my purpose, is to be in the mundane, be in the middle of everybody unconscious, and be like, hey, looking over here. we gotta snap out of it over here.
Yeah.
Something different. Like, I'm so motivated in that aspect of like creating change, because this awakening it's brought me into my power, and it's brought me into a lot of realization about what this reality is and what it can be for all of us collectively. And I mean, we feel it. There's a grand awakening.
And a more grounded awakening, like a more real awakening.
Right.
It's a deepening. It's
Right.
like
Well,
we need to do something on earth we're not going to be able to go get a new Earth, guys.
100.
It needs to be in the systems that exist. We have to turn those over. Like, it's deeper than, it's not up here, guys. It's deep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's holding space for that, what we inherited, and like we're gonna have to hold that space for everyone, no matter what they believe in, no matter who they are.
Mm-hmm.
A murderer, you can be the worst kind of person, and we're gonna have to hold space for those kind of people, because way through, it really is. And it's hard to say that because it's so easy for us to demonize our fellow humans just because of what we've done. But like, knowing where I came from and the rooms that I've been in, I was like, if I were to demonize, then I'm demonizing myself. Like, you know, I've been in the same thought patterns. I've thought in certain ways that I'm not proud of. And it's been because of collective tribal mentalities, like you said. And yeah, we got to hold space for that and understand that, like, we can change, and it doesn't have to keep going on like this. It don't have to be so one way about things. And there's so much gray. There's so much more gray, black and white.
And this is such a cliche, but it really is love, you guys. Like, it really is love. Like, we really
That's
have to love the things that we don't want to love. It's really hard. It's not easy, but
it's
it's necessary. And we don't need to keep othering. It's all this othering. It's you over there. You're so different.
of course they are. If you really think about it, like, how many perceptions are there, and how many different upbringings can look at the possibilities. Look at
Yeah.
the universe we live in. It's unlimited.
Yeah.
If it can be conceptualized, it exists. If you can think about it, this, like, think about it. It's unlimited. And that's where, holy shit, we're divine. We're
Mm.
divine.
We
This is
are so beautiful.
like, uh, it's really, truly amazing how divine we are. And uh, so, like, yeah, India, my
Changed
heart,
your life.
my, like, and we went straight to, trekking Everest Base Camp, going to the highest point, without going to the highest point, but like almost. And like, I have a really strong feeling about elevating yourself physically can cause elevation within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this wholeheartedly because of what's happened to me. Going up that high in elevation, you're reaching a threshold between the infinite, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is like an actual physical representation of that threshold. Even though you can probably accomplish that anywhere you are in the world, there's something about I almost, my vessel needed to experience it, to be at that height, to push my body to a point of exhaustion like that. It was insane. I had altitude sickness. I was hurting, but like, coming down from that back into oxygen, and it was very transformative. My body, my vessel is like forever like changed. And like, I'll talk about going to Africa and having a similar experience on Mount Kilimanjaro. But so we went to Oregon, Lincoln City, for the next year after India. After,
Beautiful.
so I worked at the Pelican Brewing over there in Lincoln City.
Nice.
And this was like the last time that I guess it's not the last time, but I went through another grind of pushing myself. Like, I worked 5 shifts a week serving tables, and I pushed myself like doubles every day.
Yeah.
Yep. And like, it was just to make money, and like, At the time, my ex was going through physical symptoms of our travels. I want to say from our travels. But I don't really know. It's hard to explain, but as soon as my awakening process happened and I stopped having the attachment that I did to the relationship and the life that I had at the time, um, there were symptoms involved with my ex that happened, and
Okay.
I think it was separation was starting to be felt energy. And this is not saying that I didn't love her, but I was just getting my sovereignty back, and
Okay.
and like I wouldn't respond the same way. I wouldn't really, you know, it was just a lot different because I was a people pleaser. I was like, what do you want me to do for you? I kind of like, or I was that kind of person of like, everything mattered except, you know, but I started to really understand and like feel this pull to like draw my energy back into myself because I've always been putting it outside of me.
Yeah.
As that happened, the relationship got interesting. She was going through a lot of dizziness, and we really don't know what it was. We've gotten so many tests done. It was MRIs, it was everything. Like we've got every test you can think of, but like dizziness spells where like she just would have like anxiety and panic attacks, and like we also had like a theory of like her tapping into past lives because she would have dreams of being on a boat, and it was
Mm,
interesting.
yeah.
It was almost like times were just really being, it was a really interesting situation. And
Do
like,
you feel like there was like when two people have their own energy fields and then they merge, that creates like a third energy and like a that bond and kind of being enmeshed, and especially like right now the consciousness of relationship is not the same as it was a year ago even.
right,
And so we could even say that's more of a codependent paradigm. Do you feel like when you took your energy back and you were more sovereign, like it almost was like a shock to her energy system? Yeah.
what I'm feeling because I was always there. I was always in that space to be the anchor energetically. Even
Mhm.
when we were kids, I mean, her home life was just, it's not very safe to be in. And so, yeah, I do feel that that is a possibility.
Yeah.
Um, and then we went to Africa, and I'm having like this. Well, I actually had a weird experience on mushrooms in Lincoln City. Um,
Everyone in Oregon has no.
yeah, basically, it was like, oh, I'm gonna take this medicine and I'm gonna go like sit by the beach.
Mhm.
And he had given me a recording to go listen to. And I'm not remembering what it was, but I went by the ocean, listened to this recording, and then the ocean told me leave.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to make of it, and I I ignored it because I just couldn't fathom that idea.
You weren't
And
ready. Yeah.
I wasn't ready, but I did get a whisper of like, hey, there's something here. And like something in that recording she gave me. And I almost like, I don't know what her intention was giving me the recording, or if she knew I was going to have that kind of reaction to it, because it was like all about like just the ocean was saying, leave the situation. It was interesting. And I ignored it completely. So we kept going the summer. She's not working because of the dizzy spells, and I'm hustling all summer. We make enough money, and we're planning our trip for Africa. And I just get to Africa, I'm like exhausted from the summer. Like my body is just done. And I'm just like, this is like another summer of like hustling, and like I'm just ready to like not push myself like that anymore. But we go to Morocco, and it's so funny because like I go to Morocco, I was like, this looks just like Arizona. It's like I traveled across the world to look at a desert. Oh. But it was still beautiful. Like it's very interesting culture there. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. You don't like.
What's one like what's the one thing that you took away from Morocco? Like what's the one main thing that stood out about that place, the energy of that land, the people?
Mm, the first thing that comes to mind is like just the observation when it comes to gender roles.
Mm,
They're very interesting.
mm.
You'd have like the little boys on the street playing soccer, and then you just like don't see the girls. They're just
Okay.
gone.
Mm,
It's just and then like of course like they play the roles there very intensely, and like you're
mhm.
covered up. I just thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that just weirded me out. That weirded me out a lot. The geometry and like the design of the buildings and everything is just amazing. I can't like. There's nothing like it. Like their design and their style is just so beautiful. It is
Mm.
so beautiful. I really loved that. Morocco. I'm trying to think here. We stayed in like the ancient, like old town there. And I don't know if you've ever read the book The Alchemist.
I have. It's one of my favorite books.
So like after that experience and then reading that book, I was just like, whoa, that's so weird.
Yeah.
uh, it was a very deep time for me, like recollecting my energies and just like it was so hard for me to like be in my sovereignty there though.
Okay.
I was still like in between like stepping into my purpose and like what life was calling for me, and
Mhm.
like in my old habits and like patterns, and like
Yeah.
the relationship was getting weird, and I was having so much discontent in my body because like my body is like calling for something, but I'm not acting on it and I'm not doing anything with it. So I'm just like I feel like so it was really hard for me to be present, I think, during that
Yeah.
time too. Um and then we traveled to Tanzania, and we go trek Kilimanjaro for like I think it was like a 10-day trek,
It's
and
insane.
it was insane. It was insane. Like I don't know, I'm in this beautiful place again, but I'm still having like discontent
Mm.
inside. And I felt like this like my entire life. Like anywhere I would go, I would just be like, okay, this is a beautiful place, but like there's something that's missing inside of me. There's something internally that I'm just like having trouble like to my present moment and being like okay with it and being okay with like what's happening in my life.
Mm.
And like I just was having so much discontent inside still. Um and I trekked the mountain, and the whole time I'm trekking this mountain, I'm doing breath work. The
Mm.
whole time, like I don't know if it was intuitively, but like the entire time I was doing like this breathing exercise, like ocean breath, the entire time for the
Mm.
whole trek.
Yeah.
And I did it all the way to the peak of this mountain. And like I wrote down like all the things that I was feeling inside, all that I wanted to call in for my life, and I left it on the top of that mountain after doing that. And it was so like such a moment. We did it like on New Year's, like we got to the top of the mountain on New Year's Day, and it was just such a powerful moment and a beautiful time. And like I can still feel the tension between the relationship because I didn't I was still trying to like get my energy back in the dynamic. And then also like I feel like I'm projecting a lot. I'm projecting a whole lot onto her too with this insecurity inside myself. So it's just like I was having a lot of trouble with that because like it has like nothing to do with her and like everything to do with my personal power and like my personal inner world. Um and still like I wanted to make her the issue. I wanted to make her the problem because I didn't know what it was. I'm starting to be like super confused about like what's going on. I'm like, why can't I enjoy myself? Why am I not happy right now?
Yeah.
So we go to Zanzibar after that just to like kind of rest after the trek. And I remember it vividly. It was a new moon and I woke up in the middle of the night like in a panic. And I have like a quarter life crisis moment. I'm just like freaking out and like I can't explain things, so it just feels like I'm just attacking her for everything. And like I felt like I was just losing my shit. Like my body just couldn't take it anymore. And I had visions of this life during a dream that night. And I was like, I have to go. I have to go home. And I left her in Zanzibar. And I went home and like I still to this day don't even know like what came over me, but something came over me.
Yeah.
And I knew it was something so powerful. Like there was a powerful call from within. And I went home and like I hired a life coach. Uh, I scheduled a Vipassana for myself.
Wow.
I went vegan. I did everything I could. I just like I was like, I need to do something. I need to figure out like what's happening inside of me. And I don't know if you know the podcast. It's called Science and Spirituality by
I haven't listened to it, but sounds like something I'd listen to.
it's beautiful and it's helped me throughout this journey of like connecting science and spirituality because I'm so scientific minded. But Kevin Carton, one of the hosts, he was my life coach.
Okay.
And like he helped me like deal with so much. Like he put me like in front of myself and like he would change how I would talk to myself. He all these things about like how I was speaking about myself and like just like the mindsets that I was in. He saw it, right? Because he's that's his job, of course, and he knows this stuff. And he had me reading, you know, a book called like Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. But
Okay.
it's basically what do they do? A plastic surgeon that like he's also like a psychologist and like he just really gives you like the whole like background of like how you can literally change yourself through one plastic surgery even though like you could probably do that without plastic surgery, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like he saw like just like the energetics behind it and he really gives you a way to see yourself in this book. And then through the life coaching, it was the 3-month program of like building your dream life and like all these aspects about it. And then right towards the end of that course, I go to this 10-day silent Vipassana near Joshua Tree Forest in California in Palm Springs. And let me tell you, when you arrive in this city, you can just feel the energy there. I instantly felt like oh, this is about to be something for me. Like the whole Joshua Tree National Forest just like has an energy about it that's just so mystical and magical. And I go through this 10-day Vipassana, and what another experience, right? So
Yeah.
here I go through this spiritual awakening. I go through like this tension in a relationship, and like just with myself, I'm having so much inner like something wants to transform, something wants to be birthed out of me. And like there's a discontent. There's something in me that knows that I'm more than what I give myself credit for. And I'm sitting in this Vipassana doing what I do, trying to sit through the meditation, because you do like the hour meditation of like strong sits. You're supposed to stay in the posture and sit with the sensations. And at first, you're just following the subtle sensations of your nose. And then he'll go through philosophy the next day about it, and you're just still focusing on this one point. Any sensation. Don't think about spiritual stuff. Don't think about religion. It's just you and your sensations, and
Mm.
follow it. And then he starts to expand it. So now it's like this whole part of your face for a couple of days, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all about scanning your body, going
Tapping
from
into your ability to feel.
right. And
Yeah.
like, so I'm going through this meditation, and I got to the point where like I'm doing this hour sit of like sitting, and I'm struggling through it, right? Like it hurts. Like I'm trying to like force my way through this meditation like I do with everything in my life. I was like forcing my way through work and like working as hard as I can, and I'm like struggling, and like it's some of the most agony, like painful sensations like in my hips and like in my body where I'm holding a lot of this tension. And then the guru comes on, and he's like, we only experience as much pain as we give it. Usually we'll experience the sensation of pain, and then we'll just like focus our attention on it. And like there was something about the way he was able to speak through me and like get me to just like give equal weight to the most subtle sensation and the most intense sensation in your body. And this is where I went through like a crazy experience of like sitting in that meditative posture, like, and I literally watched that intense pain dissolve into numbness like before my very eyes. And I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And ever since that meditation, like it's been helping me transmute the pains of my life into something that I can deal with and overcome and have the ability to sit with. And at first it was just physical stuff, right? But as my physical body is getting used to sitting in this posture and doing this type of meditation, it becomes emotional. And like I'll get like waves of anxiety, waves of sensations. But with this meditation, like I'm able to change it and turn it into power through my breath and through my awareness of it, realizing that nothing more than just a sensation, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Ever since that Vipassana, like the progress of transmuting pains and like understanding where my emotions are coming from in my physical vessel,
Mm-hmm.
rapidly shifting.
Yeah.
And it's also has to do with like my intuition of bringing me to people, places, and things to further open me up. So like I'll get a reflection from a person that triggers me, and I'm like, whoa. But then I go sit and do my meditation that night, and I really study the energetics of it, and I try to understand it from a deeper level than just being triggered, right? I'm not so like I've been starting to do this study now, and I'm like really trying to think in energy. And then also after I had separated from my partner, because we went through a whole process of separation, because we went to Alaska not this summer, but the summer before together, as kind of like a last hurrah. Because like I'm not one to just let somebody go. That's just been my life for 11 years. I'm not gonna just do that, and I'm still denying this like pull to separate at this moment. She comes back from Africa. I get done with the Vipassana. We come together, and I explain this in terms of the relationship, because the awakening is the relationship, and it has all to do with it.
Yeah.
We don't do this alone.
No, we don't.
We really don't. And
No.
we take this last trip, and we're just like, we're gonna do this. And on the way to Alaska, the RV catches on fire.
No.
The gas line breaks. Like, so many things happen. It's just like the omens are crazy. And there's just so many still quarrels within myself and within the relationship that we're going through together. We really tried to think about things like every relationship. Oh, maybe we should open the relationship. Maybe we should do this. And it just turned really bad. Really, really, really bad. And it got to like toxicity, and like where we both were just not being very considerate of each other. And I got to a point where I was just literally sick to my stomach, to the point where I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to get myself out of the situation. And that's where my journey by myself has started. And that was last October, is like the beginning. So a year mark of being on my own for the entire life. And talk about transformation. What the hell? Crazy. It's so crazy. Like, the personal power that I have now is just insane.
Yeah.
And there's so many reasons for it. What happened? I wrote Seward, Alaska, and then Dark Night of the Soul. That's like truly what happened. Like, I went to Dark Night of the Soul in Alaska last summer. I was doing the thing again. I worked 2 jobs, hustling hard, but this time I was just going to the bars and drinking and drowning myself because I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Also, during this entire time, I'm doing light work.
You're healing, and you're being a healer, and you're doing the work that no one sees.
Right. I'm doing all this work on myself, but like I'm also like light working the shit out of Earth. Like, because like there's no coincidence that I go from South Padre Island, Texas, the most southern point of the United States, all the way up the coast of California to the Cascade Mountain Range, where I'm working with the Meridian line of Bellingham. And then also now I'm up here in Alaska, where like it's just, the energy here is just so magnificent. So I'm working in like the confines now. I'm in like the Ring of Fire. Like, I'm in volcanic like area. Like, I've been working with the ley lines like unknowingly, and like doing this energy work with my conversations. That whole summer I worked at Pelican Brewing. I touched people's hearts every day. There was that's the thing about the spiritual awakening that happened in India. When I came back and served tables, I was an open heart.
Yeah.
And why I have a really beautiful understanding of energy dynamics is because I serve tables to families from all sorts of backgrounds, and I was reading into their energy dynamics, and I was giving them my heart and being so with them. And like, I've been doing this my entire life, but like this was the first time that I like opened myself up, and I was not shying away. I wasn't like in fear of like getting intimate with a stranger. And you wouldn't believe like some of the connections I made with families, and like I would never see them again. I would just have like an amazing experience with them. I would never see them. And so I serve tables. Doing that is like the energy behind that. Like, props out to servers out there, because that is no easy thing.
Yeah.
No wonder I was so drained after that summer. But I moved to Bellingham. I go back to Bellingham because I just wanted somewhere familiar. And the farm that I was working at, they like bought a travel trailer for me to stay in on their farm,
Yeah.
like for free. For free. They
Yeah.
gave me and I was just so thankful, because these people are just so holy and blessed. Like,
Yeah.
holy crap. Holy crap. They're so beautiful. Um, so I went to Bellingham, and like this is where like the personal power starts to build.
Okay. Is this after last summer?
Yeah, this is after Seward, Alaska.
Okay.
Break up. She goes to Australia, and I go to Bellingham. Like, we just separate. We go through the separation, which was just like insanely hard. It was the hardest summer of my life.
Yeah.
Though, there's I couldn't think of a time. I think it was even more painful energetically than the car accident.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
I even had a moment where I was manic, running through the streets of Seward, yelling out her name. I was under the influence, but like my soul felt the separation physically, and like I felt it like fall away from me. Like, it was so intense.
Yeah.
It was such an intense experience.
A death.
It was a death. I was
Yeah.
dying. I died.
Yes. Yeah.
100% died. So I go to Bellingham, and I'm just staying in this trailer, and I'm like kind of still in the habit of like drinking, and like I start going out like to the shows, but like I go out and listen to music, and I'm just dancing by myself, and like I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just moving, and like for the first time in my life, I'm like, I just want to be by myself and enjoy music. Like, I don't even want to worry about other people or relationships. Like, I have this like idea in my head that like I had so many ideas in my head about relationships and like whatever things I was lusting for at the time, but
Yeah.
I had no, like, this just time period of me just going out, dancing by myself, and then like retreating back to the travel trailer. And I just go out, dance by myself, and like I was working a job with the farm and like helping them out again. But it was just like such an experience to like feel good about just like dancing by myself and like not really worrying about anybody else. It's just me. And I was like, that was powerful. Um, and then one day I'm just doing yoga at the gym, and I'm doing it in like their room where they do Pilates and everything. And I have an instructor come by. He's like, "Hey, do you want to do the Pilates class?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Do the Pilates class. And then he comes up to me afterward in the locker room, and he's like, "Hey, do you dance?" And I was like, I guess I've never really allowed myself to like dance. I was like, I'm getting there, like figuring it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I teach boylette. It's just like Magic Mike dancing," he says.
Yeah.
And I'm, what? Like, okay, cool. Like, I go home, like I Google it, and I see it, and I'm like, my ego's like, hell no, bro. I'm like, you know what, Jay? You gotta give it a chance. You're here to do something new. And I go to this class, man, and this has been the most life-changing experience ever. I go to this, it's like such a sensual, like, masculinity, like you're doing the body rolls and like hip movements.
Yeah.
And like, not only did I feel powerful doing that, but like the people in the space were just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like for the first time, I felt like I was in a safe environment to just be me.
Yeah.
And such a beautiful thing to experience. And I start getting into performing and doing like burlesque and cabaret style dancing, and like, this is life, bro. This is the thing. everybody needs to experience this. Like, you need to free yourself. You
Yeah.
need to be able to dance freely. And
Mhm.
like, it's very choreographed, and like, it's not free in that aspect. But like, getting yourself on stage like that is vulnerable. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is just what I needed. This is exactly what I needed to just break through this discontent and
Mm.
disempowerment inside. And like, I really just saw myself for the first time. I was like, I'm bright. I'm like, I'm so capable of being seen. And like, it just unlocked this like worry of being seen and like self-consciousness in myself that was like just unknown to me. And like, here I am like doing like this sexy taboo like dancing, but I'm having the most spiritual experience.
Mhm. Yep.
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
I have so much to say. Like, I feel so much from this. Number one, I just want to say that, like, you actually have a very strong masculine energy, which kind of surprised me a little bit, like, after hearing you speak.
Oh
And I
really?
and yeah, you do have a very strong masculine energy, but it is kind of like being able to know that you're whole and that you have both of these divine energies inside of yourself and have that balance and being able to express both.
Mm-hmm.
And for men it's just been like like they don't dance. It's seen as like so wrong for a man to just move their bodies in a flow. And so I think that you're a testament to when you have the capacity to develop the masculine energy within yourself, you actually give your feminine the space to be and to exist within yourself. And
Dude,
we actually all can do this.
yes. And don't even get me started on this feminine energy that I have. It is beautiful. It is so,
Beautiful.
and I'm like, I love this side of me, and I've stifled it my entire
Mhm.
life because
Yeah.
I didn't think it was safe to do it. But like, I'm beautiful. I,
Mm.
I have so much beauty like that. It's just it's
It's
power.
overwhelming.
It's overwhelmingly powerful.
The feminine
Like,
energy is overwhelmingly stunning.
and it's like the magnetism that people seek in this life comes from that. Like, you can draw anything into your life with this power. And like, little do these men know that that is like the secret to their freedom, the secret to their truest power is getting through that self-consciousness of that side of yourself that is existing within you. It's a part of you.
Yeah.
And I am finding so much worthiness in it. And
Mhm.
like, I've never felt so worthy in my life. And it wasn't until I like let this side of me like express. And like, yes, I wore dresses. Yes, I performed, and yes, I paint my nails, and like I wear my earrings, but like, you don't even have to do that to harness that energy. You don't
No.
do that. You can just dance and just be free. And to me, it's just an energy. It's not even about like all of these identities that we like to make it to be. It's just like
Yeah.
it's an, and when you let this feminine energy flow through you, it is so freaking powerful. It changed me. Ah,
Hey guys, I'm popping in because unfortunately our conversation was cut off and we were not able to get the footage from the end of our conversation, which, yes, we're sad about, but also we trust and have faith that there's a reason for that. Of course, everything is always perfect and imperfectly perfect. So we did end up talking for quite quite a long time. So, maybe the universe was like, okay, you guys would yap forever and go down many rabbit holes. So we had to cut it for you. That I wanted to pop on and say and just give you guys kind of an overhaul of where we ended the conversation was, number one, me and Jay expressed our gratitude for being in each other's energy and each other's space. And we also continue to talk about the power of the feminine energy and essentially how our lack of self-worth, when that comes from the masculine side of us, when we don't embody the fullness of our beauty, of our power, of our light, when we don't recognize and see how beautiful we are and how magnificent we are, that is when we actually do destructive things or act out in distorted, unconscious ways, is when we deny the beauty of us. And so I really want to leave this podcast in that kind of space of the point of our conversation really ended with this very beautiful feminine magic and awakening between us both of just acknowledging and honoring the feminine energy, the divine mother, the goddess, and our bodies and flow, and how when we can really see the power and the magic of the feminine energy, that is when we feel the most empowered from our masculine side. This is when we feel our worth. And so that was a really beautiful message that we ended with. And we also ended up with the present moment of Jay's journey, which ended with him finishing up his last trek through Alaska, and he will be packing his bags and heading to the Hawaiian Islands. And so that's where we left off. And if you guys want to go follow Jay and where he's at and follow him to Hawaii, he will be headed there very soon. So go follow him, go show him love. He's got beautiful medicine to gift, and I'm just very, very grateful for this opportunity to share the wisdom with you guys. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time on Weaving Sacred Stories.